Welcome again to one of the most enthralling Science Scamper series for classes 6 to 8 by EduCatUp, and I am your super science teacher Ambika. At EduCatUp, we always empower all our students as how to think and not what to think. So if you want to experience the same, guys, it's the right time. Just subscribe to the EduCatUp YouTube channel. The subscription button is just given below. If you like our video, don't forget to press the like button and ensure to hit the bell icon to get all the latest updates from EduCatUp. Now let's start today's session, and the topic for the day is body movements. In this module, we are going to discuss all the aspects that how the body of living organisms move, how it shows locomotion, what are the things which are required for the movement, everything we are going to discuss. Now children, if we say movement, that is some kind of motion, maybe from one place to another or maybe at the same place, but some kind of movement, some kind of change. Now if we say animals like maybe human beings, dog, cat, lion, tiger, they actually change their position. That means from one point to another point. If we talk about plants, they don't change their position from one point to another, but still they also show movement by swaying their leaves, isn't it? So every living organism shows movement, but how? That we are going to discuss in this chapter. Now let's see the topics being covered under this. Movement and locomotion, voluntary and involuntary movements, body movements in humans, joints in humans, muscles in humans, last but not the least, gaits of animals. Now let's move ahead. Movement and locomotion. What is the difference between these two terms? When we move only a specific part of a body, that means any organism, any living organism, when it moves only a specific part of its body, like for example, if I'll talk about myself right now, I am just moving my hand, this arm, the forearm of my hand. Am I moving any other part of my body? No. So this is a movement because only a specific part of the body is moving. The entire body is not moving. And if we talk about locomotion, the entire body moves. Like this is a locomotion when I am moving back and forth. This is a locomotion because I am going back, I am coming in front. I am changing the position from one point to another. The complete body is moving. Legs, the upper body, everything is moving. So what is the difference between the two? Movement means जब आप अपनी बॉडी का या कोई भी लिविंग ऑर्गेनिज्म अपनी बॉडी का सिर्फ एक पर्टिकुलर पार्ट, एक पर्टिकुलर ऑर्गन ही मूव करता है, दैट इज नोन एज मूवमेंट. एंड फॉर एग्जाम्पल, व्हेन यू आर स्टैंडिंग इन द किचन एंड यू टच द हॉट पैन बाय मिस्टेक, you just take off your hand back. So that is the movement of your forearm only. The entire body does not move. And when you are running, walking, jogging, dancing, what exactly you are doing? Your complete body is moving. It's changing position from one point to another continuously. So that is locomotion. तो जब भी आप अपनी बॉडी का या कोई भी लिविंग ऑर्गेनिज्म अपनी बॉडी का सिर्फ कोई एक पर्टिकुलर पार्टी मूव करता है तो हम उसे कहते हैं मूवमेंट. लेकिन जब कंप्लीट बॉडी एक पॉइंट से दूसरे पॉइंट पे मूव करती है, पोजीशन चेंज करती है, देन इट इज नोन एज लोकोमोशन. ऑलराइट, नाउ लेट्स मूव अहेड. Voluntary and involuntary movements. Now movements are of two types, voluntary and involuntary. Now voluntary movement means the movements which are under our own control, यानी कि जिन्हें हम अपनी मर्जी से करते हैं, अपनी मर्जी से स्टार्ट करते हैं, and we can stop them at our own wish. For example, walking. Walking is something when we have to walk, we walk, and whenever we want to stop it, we can stop it. Writing. Speaking, right now I am talking to you, I am speaking to you, but whenever I want to keep my mouth shut, I can do that like this. Now again I want to speak. A voluntary movement which happens according to my wish. जब मुझे करना है तब मैं अपनी बॉडी से वो मूवमेंट करा सकती हूँ, और जब नहीं करना है तो बंद करा सकती हूँ. दैट इज अ वॉलंटरी मूवमेंट. नाउ व्हाट इज इनवॉलंटरी मूवमेंट? इनवॉलंटरी मूवमेंट आर दोज मूवमेंट्स विच आर नॉट अंडर आवर कंट्रोल, which happens automatically due to the functioning of the body. We can't commence them, we can't end them. they will work, they will function according to the body. Like for example, blinking of the eyes, पलकों का झपकना, हम उन्हें कंट्रोल नहीं कर सकते, it happens automatically. Beating of the heart, हमारा दिल धड़कता है, हम उसको कंट्रोल नहीं कर सकते ना, that for 10 minutes our heart should not beat. Can we do that? No. Digestion of food, if we have eaten something or if we are eating something, it will go in the stomach, it will go in the intestine and the process of digestion will start. हम ऐसा तो नहीं कर सकते कि हमने खाना खाया, बॉडी में खाना गया, लेकिन हम डाइजेशन नहीं होने दे रहे हैं. कैन वी डू दैट? हम खाने को पचने ही नहीं दे रहे हैं. कैन वी डू दैट? No, that's not possible. So the movements which are not under our control and they happen automatically are known as involuntary movements. So movements are of two types, that is voluntary, which happens according to our own wish and we can control them, and the other one is involuntary, which happens automatically and we cannot control them. Now let's move ahead. Now, body movements in humans, the skeletal system, different types of bones form this framework. Now, you can see just behind me a picture that is of human skeleton. What do we mean by skeleton? Skeleton is the framework of bones. What do we mean by framework? If you have a picture and you put it in the frame, it gives an outline, a border of the picture, isn't it? Similar thing is with this skeleton. It gives an outline of our body, that how our body will look. Like we have head at the topmost, then we have two hands, chest, then our two legs. So that is a kind of a framework of human body. And that framework, वो एक जो ढांचा बनाया जाता है, एक तरीके से आप कह सकते हैं स्केलेटन इज द ढांचा ऑफ ह्यूमन बॉडी, कि कैसी होगी ह्यूमन बॉडी. एंड सभी ह्यूमंस में सब कुछ होता है. देयर इज नो ह्यूमन बीइंग जिसमें एक ही हाथ हो या तीन पैर हो, ऐसा तो नहीं है. एवरीबडी हैज टू हैंड्स, एवरीबडी हैज टू लेग्स, एवरीबडी हैज वन हेड. दैट इज द बेसिक फ्रेमवर्क of a human body, which is known as a skeleton, and skeleton is made up of bones. Now in human body, for any kind of movement, the coordination between three things is very much required, and that are bones, muscles, and joints. If any movement has to happen in human body, हमारी humans की body में कोई भी movement अगर होना है, कोई भी, voluntary, involuntary, doesn't makes a difference. Movement or locomotion doesn't makes a difference. The coordination between three things is extremely essential and mandatory. Those three things are bones, muscles, and joints. इन तीनों के बीच जब कोऑर्डिनेशन प्रॉपर होता है तभी बॉडी में किसी भी तरीके की मूवमेंट होगी. अगर इन तीनों में कोऑर्डिनेशन नहीं है, देयर विल बी नो मूवमेंट. बोन्स मतलब जो आपकी हड्डियां होती हैं, मसल्स मतलब जो मांसपेशियां होती हैं, एंड जॉइंट्स मतलब जहां पे आपके दो बोन्स अटैच्ड होते हैं, दैट पॉइंट. सो द कोऑर्डिनेशन बिटवीन दीज थ्री थिंग्स इज एक्सट्रीमली एसेंशियल. ऑलराइट, नाउ लेट्स मूव अहेड. Now, the human skeleton has basically four parts. The first is the skull, then the backbone, then the rib cage, and the last is the limbs. These four parts make up the entire human skeleton. Alright, so we will study each of them in detail. The first we are going to study is the skull. Now, the skull is a hard structure. It protects the brain because it's over here, this part. This part is known as the skull. The bony part inside our face is the skull. It is very hard. Then it protects our brain because brain is a very soft and delicate organ and very essential as well. Then the only movable part in this skull is the lower jaw. ये जब हम बोलते हैं तो ये ही मूव करता है. आप देखिए बाकी कुछ भी मूव नहीं करेगा आपके इस पूरे फेस के पोर्शन में. Only this lower jaw will move. So that is the only movable part in the skull. Then it contains holes for eyes, ears, nose, and mouth. Obviously, if you see, let's go behind. Yeah, over here. So, you can see this. This is the skull. It has holes for eyes, for nose, for mouth. Okay? And this lower jaw is only which is movable, and it protects the brain which is present over here. So, yeah, that is there. Now let's move ahead. Okay, now the next part is backbone or vertebral column. Backbone is also known as vertebral column. You know that from our neck till our hip joint, we have a straight bone, a long one, which is known as backbone. Very essential for our body movements, for our body to stand, to sit, to lie down. For all the three things, backbone or vertebral column is very important, children. All my lovely students, I hope you are enjoying the video. So it's time to press the like button. And if you have any doubts, any queries, any questions, your extremely valuable feedback, don't forget to put it in the comment box, and your super science teacher Ambika will definitely revert you back. Now let's continue. So a backbone or vertebral column is the long, hard rod-like structure. It's very long, as you can see in the image over here. It's very long. It is completely made up of bones, so extremely hard, and it's just like a narrow thing, so it looks like a rod. It extends from the base of the skull to the hip. That means from here till our hip joint, it's completely present. It is made up of 33 small bones, and those bones are known as vertebrae. This, it's important, children. One single bone is known as vertebra. Like this one bone, this another one bone. This is known as a vertebra. One single bone is known as a vertebra, and all these bones, 33 in number, together known as vertebrae, the plural form. Backbone protects the spinal cord. Now, what happens? Like these vertebrae are like this. Okay. And there's a hole in between. So, from in between, spinal cord passes. This is your spinal cord. This is your spinal cord, and spinal cord is a very delicate and very essential and important organ, children. The functioning of brain with the rest of the body is coordinated with spinal cord. So if anything, by God forbid, happens to spinal cord, the person can die. Some part of the body can be paralyzed. It can be very dangerous. So spinal cord is something which needs a very protective covering, and that is why spinal cord passes through these strong 33 bones which protect it, which guards it properly. And because of this reason that spinal cord passes through backbone, backbone is also known as spine. Okay, it is also known as spine. So backbone or vertebral column or spine, one or the same thing, three names of one single item. Is it clear? And it protects which organ? It protects the spinal cord. Now let's move ahead. Yeah, the next is ribcage. Now ribcage has actually 24 bones in number, or 12 pairs of bones. Now how do we understand it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So like this, 24 bones separately, and otherwise this is one pair. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We are counting bones from both the sides to make one pair. Like this, 12 pairs. So in either way, you can say that ribcage is made up of 24 bones or 12 pairs of bones. So you need to understand how you are defining it. Alright, then it protects the internal soft organs, that is heart and lungs. Both are protected by ribcage. It is present in this chest part. Alright, now let's move ahead. The next is limbs. Limbs is something, we have two types of limbs, that is forelimbs and hind limbs. Let's understand them also. We have forelimbs and hind limbs. Forelimbs means hands and hind limbs means legs. So forelimbs means the upper limbs, these two are hands, and hind limbs means the lower two, that is our legs. And femur or thigh bone is the longest bone in human body, which is a part of hind limb. Alright, now let's see ahead. Okay, action-packed info, guys. Pay attention. Something very important and exciting for you. A child is born with 300 bones. When a baby is born, when a child is born, in his or her body, we have 300 bones. But as a child grows in age, as he or she becomes old, some of the bones fuses together and the total number remains is 206 only. So an adult human being has 206 bones. The longest bone is the thigh bone, which is the femur, I have told you already, and the smallest bone is present in our ear, which is known as stapes. The smallest bone present in human body is stapes, and it is present in our ear. This small bone which is present, that is stapes, and it's the smallest bone. So the longest bone in human body is femur, which is the thigh bone, and the smallest bone is the ear bone present in ear, which is the stapes. And a human baby, when he or she is born, the number of bones is 300, but an adult human being has number of bones 206, because as a baby grows, some of the bones fuse together and become one. Now let's move ahead. Now, cartilage. Cartilage is another kind of tissue which is softer than bones, but obviously harder than muscles, and it can be bent easily. The best way or the best place to find cartilage is your earlobe, the upper earlobe. This, it can be bent easily. Your mama must be twisting your ears when you are not listening to her. So where she twists the upper ear because it is having cartilage, which is a soft tissue which can bend easily. All right. Now next is joints. Now, a joint is a place where two bones meet. When two bones attach to each other, they make a joint. Now, there are three types of joints in human body: movable joint, slightly movable joints, and fixed or immovable joints. We are going to study each one of them in detail. Okay, first we are going to study movable joints. The first is ball and socket joint. The name is ball and socket joint. It allows movement in any direction, and it is basically found in shoulder and hip joints. Now I'll explain you how it works. See, ball and socket joint, as the name suggests, one bone has a ball-like structure and the other bone has a cavity so that it can fix into it. So in case of a shoulder joint, that means this is your shoulder joint. The hand has the ball-like bone and the shoulder has a cavity-like. So this ball-like portion of hand fixed in the cavity of the shoulder part, and it can move like this in all the directions. You can see. So this is a ball and socket joint. All right. Now the next is pivot joint. The movement allowed is over the end of the other bone, and it is found in the joint of neck to head. That means this is your neck and this is your head. So the joint over here, and it allows the movement. It's like this. One bone and over that another bone. So the movement is like this, right? Like we do this, we do like this. So our neck bone is fixed, but our head bone is moving over it. So the movement is over the other bone like this. Is it clear to you? The next is hinge joint. Now, as the name suggests, hinges are present in the door. The point from where the door is attached to the grill or the frame of the door. Isn't it? We have hinges, two hinges, because of which the door moves like this. So actually this joint allows either back and forth movement or up and down movement. The best example of this kind of movement is elbow and knee joint. Now I'll show you elbow joint. It's easier to show. Like see, this is our elbow. This is our elbow. So this is one bone and this is the other bone. The forearm and the upper arm bones are attached at elbow joint. So what kind of movement our elbow can do? Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and what else can be? Down and up, down and up, down and up. Can it do a 360-degree movement? No, it's only back and forth, up and down. Similarly with our knees, they can also do the same thing. Back and forth when we are walking, and up and down when we are jumping. The last is gliding joint. Bones glide over each other. The best example is ankle and wrist joints. This is your wrist, kalai in Hindi we call it, and between the joints of vertebrae. That means vertebrae are present in spinal cord. That means your backbone or vertebral column we have just now discussed. So these four kinds are of movable joints. Now let's see ahead. Okay, now slightly movable joints. Now slightly movable joints allow movement, slight movement, that means बहुत थोड़ा सा movement allow होता है, and they basically provide support and protection. They are found in joint of lower jaw. यहाँ पे ये जो आपका lower jaw attached है, ये slightly movable joint है, मतलब एक टाइप का movement allow करता है हमें बोलने के लिए, लेकिन बहुत ज़्यादा movement नहीं है. It provides a support as well. Now let's move ahead. Okay, fixed or immovable joint. Now as the name suggests, जिनमें कोई movement नहीं हो सकता, जो कोई movement provide नहीं करते हैं, those are known as immovable or fixed. They provide protection to the delicate organ or to the part which is present inside them, basically found in the bones of skull. Skull is made up of 14 fixed bones, the cranium part, breast bones and hip girdle. Okay, now let's move ahead. So now we are going to discuss about muscles. Now as I have told you that for any kind of movement in human body, we need coordination between three things, that is bones, joints and muscles. So now we are going to discuss about muscles. Muscles cover the entire skeleton. The connecting band or the connection between bones and muscles is known as tendons. Now muscles provide movement of all kinds, यानी कि जितना भी movement human body में होता है, that is because of a lot of help by muscles. Now muscles are always present in pairs, यानी हर type की दो muscles होती हैं, A and B, and they work in pair. Like if A contracts, B relaxes. If B contracts, A relaxes. Now understand this thing. These are the muscles of your forearm. Sorry, upper arm. ये आपके अपर आर्म की मसल्स हैं. जब आप किसी को अपने यूं करके मसल्स दिखाते हैं, ये वो चीज़ है. नाउ द फ्रंट पार्ट इज नोन एज बाइसेप्स एंड द बैक पार्ट इज नोन एज ट्राइसेप्स. नाउ इफ biceps, if you are doing it like this to show your muscles, so what exactly is happening? The upper part of the muscles or the biceps are contracting. तो जो नीचे के ट्राइसेप्स होते हैं वो रिलैक्स रहते हैं ताकि आपको कोई स्ट्रेन या थकावट आपके हाथ पे फील नहीं हो. देन व्हेन यू डू लाइक दिस, सो आपके बाइसेप्स रिलैक्स हो जाते हैं और ट्राइसेप्स कॉन्ट्रैक्ट होते हैं. सो दैट इज हाउ every muscle works in the entire body, because every muscle works in pairs. One of it will contract and the other one will relax. Is it clear? Now let's move ahead. Now we are going to study the last topic of the module, and which is also very important, that is gaits of animals. Now what do we mean by this word gaits? The pattern used by any organism for any kind of movement or locomotion is known as gaits. Different animals, different organisms have different organs for locomotion or movement. Now many animals or many organisms have a different kind of shape of their body, and the shape is known as streamlined shape. In this kind of shape, the head and the tail part is narrow and the middle part of the body is a little broad. Humans have used this shape to design aeroplanes and boats. Now what is this shape exactly looks like? It's like this. So the head and the tail part is narrow in comparison to the middle part of the body. This is your streamlined shape. Fish and birds have this kind of shape, and from their body shape only, humans have inspired to make boats and aeroplanes with this shape. Now let's move ahead. Now in case of fish, the streamlined body, this kind of structure of the body reduces the efforts which is required for swimming or to swim in the water. Then the fins which are present in the fish, it helps to balance its weight in the water. If we talk about birds, birds also have streamlined shape of the body which reduces the effort during flight. That means when they are flapping their wings to fly, so it requires less energy. Because of their body shape, they just flap their wings for 1 or 2 times and they can fly. Okay, and they have hollow and light bones which helps them in being in air for a longer time. They have special bones and muscles in their hind limbs. Hind limbs means in their legs portion, which helps them in hopping and perching. Hopping means to jump like that, and perching means to sit on the eggs and all, that kind of thing, to get a hold of any place, like when they are sitting on the tree, so they can, with their claw, they can hold the branch or something. So yes. Then earthworm, farmer's friend. You all know that earthworm is farmer's friend. No bones are present in the body of earthworm, not even a single bone. It is a boneless organism, you can say. But a lot of muscular rings, a lot of muscles are present all along the body. Under the body of earthworm, it has a small hair-like structures which are very large in number, and those hair-like structures are called bristles. Now, bristles actually help earthworm to move. How? Let's understand. Like, see, it is present from here like this. So what happened? Earthworm slithers over the surface. So these bristles provide a grip over the surface. It moves its anterior part, squeezes rest of the body. Like, this is the anterior part. So first it moves this anterior part with the help of these bristles. Rest of the body will be static. Then it squeezes its rest of the body and brings it forward. Then what will happen? It will move this posterior part, stretches it out. Then squeezes the anterior part. Then again moves anterior part, squeezes this one, stretches this one. So like this it moves. It slithers over the surface with the help of these bristles. Okay, the next we are going to see is snake. Now snake also has a long flexible backbone and many thin muscles. Snake slithers or zigzags quickly across the surface, we all have seen. Because of a lot of muscles, a very flexible backbone, it just do legs and moves away. Cockroach has a hard cover called exoskeleton which protects the soft internal organs. Exoskeleton is not made up of any bone. Now the muscles which are present, the 3 pairs of muscles are present in the legs, that is hind limb, and 2 pairs of muscles are present in the wings. With the help of these muscles, cockroach can fly also easily and can also move ahead easily, can walk also. Snail. Exoskeleton is in the form of a hard shell. You can see the shell over here, that is exoskeleton, but it is not made up of bones. It hides inside its shell. This body, it moves inside the shell if it feels any kind of danger. Now again, time for some action-packed info, guys, and very important. Yoga is very good for health. Now yoga is a form of exercise which was devised anciently in India, a long ago kind of a thing given by India to the world. It helps in building strong bones, muscles, it refreshes you, it makes your breathing very normal, it makes all your body systems, your digestive system, circulatory system, nervous system, respiratory system to work properly. It also helps to maintain a good body posture, and United Nations has declared June 21st as the International Yoga Day. You should know this, children. It's related to your general knowledge thing. June 21st is known as International Yoga Day. And with this, we have come to the end of this super amazing session, children. I hope you all have subscribed to the EduCatUp YouTube channel and you must have liked the video as well. If not, then do it right now, guys. And so it's time for your super science teacher Ambika to sign off. Till the time we meet again, be happy, be safe, and keep enriching yourself with EduCatUp. Bye-bye, children.